Are you understanding the story so far?
Uh, I know that I've lost my daughter, and I know that she's somewhere in this creepy, crazy town.
Mm-hmm.
And then I keep finding like keys to open things here, which is really weird.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know that I sometimes get really, really lost and end up in the scary land
Scary land.
where there's scary people.
But yeah, one thing to mention because we were talking about it earlier. So I walked into the other world, and then I was just materialized out of it.
Yeah, you just poofed out.
Which, I think that has to deal with the illogical nature of Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Because, the whole unknown versus real or whatever.
The psycho
Mm-hmm.
the psychological like terror aspect of not knowing what's going on geometrically. It's fun.
Yeah, and how it tries to fight its reality in other places.
Look at the way that the snow falls. It's really nice. And like lands on the ground.
Mm.
And then melts. I like that. It's very pretty.
Yeah, I like particle effects.
Yeah.
What about you, Fire Hydrant?
That's a very eerie fire hydrant.
I originally thought it was a dog. Then
you realized it was a fog.
it was a fog
Rhymes are
hydrant.
funny.
But I think we'll get a...
This weather is probably terribly cold. I had to walk to work in the weather like this before.
Well,
Not
this
good.
weather, maybe 50s, 40s, I think.
But it's snowing.
Well, maybe. I don't... I feel like I've walked in this temperature before, and it's not that bad because it's not accumulating.
Yeah, maybe. I just know that I've walked in cold mist before. It's not fun. Like, the breath sticks to your face. And, like, freezes.
I will say, I feel like the snow... Like, they have this windy, hollowing feeling, and I feel like the snow, for some reason, doesn't function as the way it's supposed to as much.
A doggy. Hello, doggy. Wow.
See, I didn't have to kill him.
Yeah, see? You snuck right by him. He didn't even know you were there. Oh, this is Kay Gordon's house. Okay.
Hey, he got a good spot. He lives right next to the place he works.
Oh, delicious. Another box of bullets.
Just what I need in the morning.
Just a little bit of pick-me-up. Some clumsy lunatic dropped a plate in here and didn't clean up any of it. What a lunatic. The two of them. What is happening in this house? If I see one more single plate on the ground that's shattered, I think I will scream. I will become the Joker.
Will become the Joker. This is it, guys. This is the backstory to The Joker. The movie.
Oh, go turn on the TV. Maybe there's something on TV.
I want to know what Pyramid Head watches on television.
Yeah. What does he turn on? Pyramid Head only watches C-SPAN. The power must be out. Ow. Ow! Can't have anything nice in Silent Hill. I hate this town. Some of these camera angles really feel like indie horror film camera angles, which is really neat.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Like the swooping camera angle from behind that you just like had when you were walking down that hallway. Something about that really felt like a terror shot in like a horror movie.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the big thing for me is like the feeling of disconnect.
Yeah.
Like, I think one of the most effective camera angles for me is when the camera just stopped tracking you and you kept getting farther and farther away.
Uh-huh.
I mean, people talk about like how horror games use the camera thing,
I imagine. I mean, that's kind
but
of...
like FF9, 8, and 7 also did it. Like the Final Fantasies.
That's true. Yeah, but yeah, it wasn't so much a stylistic choice for that period of time as it was like a... This is a good way to get a bunch of like adventure area.
You say that, and but I think some of them actually came up after this game.
Hmm. Yeah, I imagine 8 and 9 probably did. I think Silent Hill came out right around the time that 7 did, if my timeline is correct. Which it might not be. Time is stupid. Who knows?
I think this is 1998 or something.
Hmm.
Which is weird to consider like video games before the 2000s.
Yeah.
In some way.
Some of my favorite games are from before the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
First 2 gens of Pokemon are pretty old.
Mm-hmm.
I
get that.
It's just as well. A lot of good games. It is weird to think that those are games that existed in a pre 9/11 world, though. I mean,
yeah, it's the same thing I was saying. I just didn't use 9/11 as a landmark for me personally.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like you look back in history and you've been building it, and it's like video games are this big recent thing. Like, you hear that about, like, colored film, too. And then it's like you find out a lot of that stuff happened way sooner than you thought. Way earlier than you thought it did.
Mm-hmm.
I imagined 3D video games being a 2000s thing.
No, that's much more recent than 2000.
3D?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's earlier, actually.
3D films?
3D video games.
Oh, 3D
like
video
Mario.
games are way earlier. Yeah, never mind. I thought you were talking about 3D movies still. Wait, there's a water on that bench. Get the...
Wait, when did I talk about 3D movies?
You were talking about... You were talking about films, and I thought that's what you meant by 3D. Rifle through that trash. Maybe there's something healthy in there. Oh, never mind. The bird comes.
The bird cometh before the fall. I need to switch my finger position.
Are you cramping up?
All these people dropping the bullets.
Doesn't
Oh
anyone
gosh,
know the
there's
value
waiting
of
and
bullets? Get out of there, Harry. This is such a dangerous land to be running through and stopping in. Find shelter from nature itself.
There's so many times when playing this game where I went to try to use the joysticks and nothing was there.
Yeah, because the PS1 controllers don't have joysticks. That still kind of freaks me out. It's like, I guess I grew up like with a PS2, so I only ever had controllers with joysticks and just didn't use the joysticks if it was a PS1 game. But seeing the DualShock with the no joysticks is really weird. It's like somewhat creepy. You know what I mean? It's like uncanny.
Yeah.
Oh, where are we now?
And I don't know.
We're in like a nice little
Man, like we are like me and Elijah and the others. We're like a year older than you, if I remember correctly. Something like that.
Something like that.
Like at least school-wise, a year older.
Yeah.
So it's like, so I was never old enough to play the PS1, like when it was around, in a serious compassion.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like during that time I'd be playing Elmo's Letter World or whatever.
Yeah, I'm a top 10 leaderboard on the Elmo's Letter World, actually.
Gosh.
It
was the first video game I ever beat. No, the last level was the easy level.
Oh, well, that's good. It ends on a happy note.
But there's some levels that took kind of forever.
The shopping district. Is that where you are?
I think I am in. No,
You're in the bridge
Wh-
control room. Okay.
but obviously I'm going to be headed there, I guess. I don't know why it's put in this really far off extra area.
Oh, that's like a beach lookout point. It's like a
Mhm.
security area. That's cool. I didn't notice that until it was contextualized for me by the bridge control room thing.
Oh no.
Well, I'm trapped in here now. Time to shoot my way out, I guess.
I'd say that music's a little much for that area.
What do you mean? It's eerie enough. It's a dark closet in Silent Hill, for Christ's sake.
I hear what you're saying. It's like that sounds like the vampire lord
Yeah,
is cometh.
That's true. It is like Dracula's castle.
It's like, look, I'm just in a closet, and I know I'm safe.
You know, it's really nice that they keep giving you first aid kits. Like they're just scattered around town.
Oh my gosh, I am wealthy again.
Yeah. Good to be wealthy.
Get away from me, peasants!
Out of my
Oh, no.
way, fools.
Yeah, as I said, like one of the most horrifying things is when the camera gets far away from me like that.
Uh-huh.
Because I feel like I'm losing distance and thus control over Harry.
Yeah, you're like disappearing into the fog.
So like in the Final Fantasy games,
Uh-oh.
okay.
Down, Cujo. See, Cujo is okay that they killed the dog in that one, because Cujo is the villain in that movie, and he's a dog.
Cujo?
Yeah.
What movie?
It's a book. It's a Stephen King book. It's about a dog that has rabies.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I never read it, but I know that that's the reference. Stephen King, if you want to be on the show, just drop me a line. I'll be in contact with your people.
Yeah. I mean,
I hope
I
he
would be
sees
down
this.
for a show for, Stephen King.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If no parking anytime.
I mean, he does, he can talk about whatever he feels like. But we'd just be happy to have him.
Yeah.
He seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, talk about life up in Maine.
Yeah. Except for when he, wrote about how, like, the story about how he wrote in the Dark Tower, like, about the guy who ran him over?
Oh yeah, no, I know what you mean.
And it's just, like, full of so much hate.
It's very funny.
The writing.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
And it's like, you find out about the guy, and it's like, I mean, I feel like that guy got his just desserts, Mr. King.
Yeah, I feel like he think he's already dead. You've kind of already beaten him into the ground. Isn't he even enough? He didn't mean it.
He was high and drunk, but he didn't have a life that he was gonna go back to. He died like a week later or something. Like you sued him, and thus he didn't have any money.
That's fine though. Stephen King, you don't have to answer that question. If you come on the show, it's fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. We'll talk about things that aren't that.
We'll sweep it over under the rug.
Yeah. Yes.
And we won't bring up The Shining, the movie, either. I don't know why, but I just have a weird collection of a lot of, like, Stephen King's weird, like, he seems like he's a cool guy most of the time. He also feels like a guy who, like, kind of grew faster than his heart was ready for. Does that make sense?
What do you mean?
So oftentimes when people become famous, they become famous really quickly, right?
Sure.
So Stephen King, if what I've been told is correct,
You gotta go another block. Looks like.
Mhm.
The circled area. Oh, you're just looking for stuff.
Yeah, I'm.
What were you saying?
It's part. Yeah, Stephen King, like part of being famous and everything is a lot of people go from zero to hero in these industries, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially indie people, where it's like they don't make it and then they've made it.
Right.
So I think that was like the case for him. Is he zero to hero?
Oh, I see what you mean.
And like it sounds like he's very self-critical. And then like if books would come out as movies and then they would like skyrocket, like they would be like, "Oh, those are such big movies."
Such a big pizza.
Yeah, and then the first movie to fail.
What in the world happened? We're back at this school. I don't like this. All roads lead to the school.
I think what happened is I just went backwards.
Oh, well, that's fine.
Okay, which road am I on? Okay, so that will lead me to a dead end.
A very big red dead end. Is that the hole in the
Well,
ground?
yeah. I found all 4 edges of the hole, so they just filled in the hole for me.
Nice. Get out of here, you thing. Fuck off. Don't you get over here. Come back. Go away.
Okay. So I'm gonna be heading left.
Yeah. There should be a map quest for this game.
Map quest?
Yeah. Feels like you might need one. I mean, there's just so much navigation on the street.
Mm-hmm. Sorry if I keep going back to the map, but
That's
it's
fine.
just...
I don't know where we are either. So it's helpful to see where.
Yeah.
I would definitely be checking the map more often. Just because I don't remember things.
I'm just checking it to be safe.
Oh no, Jesus, what did they do to you? Oh
That's
God.
what happens to Jesus if he goes to Silent Hill. Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh wait, no,
Oh,
that's just in
God,
every
please.
church. Never mind.
Were you ringing that bell?
I've been expecting you. It was foretold by gyromancy.
Oh, is that
What are you talking about?
is that about doing a jig
I
and
know
gyrating your
it would
hips?
come.
Yeah. It's about
You
spinning
want the
around and
girl,
around
right?
really fast.
It's just
Until
about
you produce
any form
fire.
of gyration.
You're talking about Cheryl.
I see everything.
I doubt that. Your eyes are not that big.
You know something? Tell me.
Stay back. Nothing is to be gained from floundering about at random.
Okay.
You must follow the path. The path of the hermit concealed by Flauros.
Okay, she's just having
What?
like an attack
What are you
right now.
talking about?
Here,
Is
the
she wearing a
flowers,
necktie?
Cage of peace. It
She needs to be
walls of
professional.
Darkness.
It's a Sith
and
holocron.
counteract the
What is
wrath
that
of the
doing there, Master?
underworld. These will help you.
The Sith all started from Silent Hill,
Before
Padawan.
Wait, don't go yet.
Wait, don't go yet. You can go later. I need you to stay here now. She didn't have shoes on. Which your feet probably are very cold.
Yes,
Yep.
but she went out all by her lonesome.
She'll be fine. She'll be fine. She'll be fine. We're never gonna see that old woman again. What if you could jump through that painting of Jesus into like a Mario 64 level?
Oh
as Harry
God!
Mason.
Oh God! That
Just
would
go,
be so.
whoop, and it does the ripple effect as you pass through it, and then it goes ba 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 ba, and it's Harry Mason's face, and it's just
I like
you
how-
as Jesus.
I like how there's just a giant X there.
Yeah, just a big cross through the area. Don't need to go there. Don't ever go there. This is a very nice church. It's kind of strange that there's like a Catholic church in Silent Hill, but it's nice. No Bibles, but you don't really need them. If
Well, that actually has to do with how, like, a lot about how the religious structure in Silent Hill is.
I see. There's a
Because-
deep lore reason.
Yeah. Basically, I already talked about the cult, right?
Yeah.
So the cult decided to hide out as, like, Catholics. That being
course.
said, that's...
The Catholics.
I mean,
did it.
that could have been a Lutheran church, I
That's
will
true.
say, though.
Could have been. I wouldn't know enough to distinguish between either of them.
Yeah. Well, like, my Lutheran church was, like, a lower budget version of what we were just in.
So that was like an opulent Lutheran church.
Yeah, maybe it is possible that Lutherans maybe just aren't as opulent about the church stuff as well.
Uh-huh.
Because my Lutheran church that I went to when I was young was like, it kind of felt like any business could like set up there. And it just so happened the business that set up there was a church.
It's just an office space.
Mm.
Or not an
Yeah, it
office
could've-
space, but just a space.
Yeah.
Okay, where are you going?
That's what I'm trying to find out. There's like this giant circle around that X.
Oh, maybe you still have stuff to do with this church. I mean, maybe you need to go in the gas station or something.
Well, I have
You have?
a
Oh,
key
you have a key.
for something. Wait a minute, is that...
That poor mailbox. It's falling into the abyss. That's another thing
But
that I
maybe-
would like to do is deliver mail to this town.
But you see, like, you'd get so much extra money because you're the only person who'd want to do it, but it only requires one person.
But I wouldn't want to do it. That's the thing. I mean, look at this mess. Harry's just traipsing around town with a handgun because he's being beset by monsters. Imagine having to do that and deliver mail to the proper addresses. To a town that has no people in it. It'd be a mess.
Hey. Except for people who talk like Dahlia.
Yeah.
That's the girl we just saw, by the way.
You are the keeper, and I am the key. Yeah, okay, great. Here's your package, man. I need you to sign for this. All will sign for my package.
Now I think you're just flirting.
I hate this land. Vawa. The whole town is just surrounded by a chasm. It's rough, bud.
Well, we see a giant chasm, you know, near Blotch Street.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe if I... So I got a key. Do you think the key will tell me where to go?
Yeah, maybe.
Why do I have these so mixed up? Options, map. Equipment status.
Drawbridge key. You stop right at the drawbridge.
Okay.
So go to the bridge. What is that
Well-
triangle thing again?
Oh, the
pyramid?
Florence.
Yeah,
The
Florence.
Florus.
Flowers. Purpose and use unknown. I see.
Wait, pyramid thing. It's a pyramid. It's Pyramid Head's egg.
Ugh.
He's an
No.
egg child.
I don't like the idea that they spawn like frogs. Yuck.
That means there's 4 of them. There's one for Pyramid Head, one for Pyramid Girl,
Uh-huh.
a Triangle Girl. That's the name.
Pyramid Girl. Right.
And
one for. Oh jeez. I'm trying to think of like triangle themed superhero names now. Hey, there's the keyhole on the control panel there. Put the key in there.
Darn it! Keep getting map and items confused.
It's okay. Both buttons do the same thing because you keep pressing both. You think that soda that's on that chair there is for anyone? You can just take one.
Oh! Oh.
Cheryl! Are you out there on top of the bridge? I can't see or hear you.
I need to remember to take every chance I can to save because LP rules.
Brig.
I feel like we've done so much more in these last like 20 minutes than we did in that chair. In
We're
that
actually moving. The places that we're going look relatively different from each other. That church was very samey.
You mean the school, right?
Yeah, the school, not the church.
I meant the school too.
It's
We're
a
both
church.
safe.
It's a church.
Well-
It's got a bell. It's like that.
Health drink.
Oh, delicious. I love drinking my health.
This is
Harry,
this
use
this
the
is
door, Harry.
nothing. I don't know if I can, Andy.
It's haunted
I don't
by
know
his
if I'll
memories.
ever be able to do it. I may be Harry Mason, but Masons never made doors.
Okay. I don't know that that's true, but I respect your attempt. Harry.
Isn't it like stone masons and stuff?
Yeah. I mean, but you can make, like, metal doors.
No! Heatheness!